Hello and welcome back to my channel. As the year 2025 has come to a close and we welcome in the new year 2026, I have taken a lot of time to reflect on the different art that I've made this year. And honestly, this year has both flown by and felt extremely long all at the same time. And while the beginning of this year was a little bit rough, I will say that I am quite proud of the art that I have made and my overall creativity this year, specifically in the traditional art department, which was my main goal for this year, which was to get back into making a lot of traditional art. And because I have gotten watercolors and gouache in the Christmas of 2024, I decided that I was going to try to actually spend time dedicated in the year 2025 to actually work and practice on those skills, because a lot of times I get those tools and then I don't do anything with it. So for this video, I wanted to look back on my art in the year 2025, and that includes all of the different tools that I have experimented with that year, what will stick in my rotation, and what I want to try to use more consistently this year. And that also means all of the sketchbooks I have either started or picked back up last year, and how many I have finished. All of the art that I've done last year will also be included in here, more of a general summary. And I also want to highlight some of my favorites from last year, from each month, and compare that to the year before, 2024. So if that interests you, feel free to stick around for the rest of this video. So I want to begin with all the different materials I've used this year, and that includes only traditional art materials. I am primarily a digital artist, so I have been doing a lot of learning this year, as I mentioned earlier in the video, to improve my skills with more traditional tools. So why don't we start off with the brushes. This year I have only purchased 2 sets of brushes. The rest were either gifted or from previous years, or both. First off, we will start with these calligraphy brushes. Now, you have seen me use these quite a bit in my watercolor videos. They're pretty cheap since I wasn't actually sure if I would like them for my watercolor paintings, but I actually fell in love with using them and will keep using them into the next year until I feel like they've gotten their use, but I have a feeling these will last me a pretty long time. I mostly only use these 3 from the whole set. As you can tell, they are pretty cheap. Like I said, that's actually the first time this has ever happened to me, so good to know that that is what is happening here. I didn't know that would happen. But yeah, these are pretty cheap, and obviously you can tell that I have the caps on the bottom, so they were recently used. The rest of these I haven't started using, mostly because these are more of your smaller detail brushes, and I honestly feel like I get what I need from these sizes with this if I just get enough water and point it. And this side starts getting into the bigger brushes that we use if I did more larger paintings, but for the most part, as you've seen in my videos, I'm working on smaller canvas sizes, A5s, 9x12s. I'm not really working on too many big sizes. You might have seen me use this brush, I believe, in one of my paintings, probably the Ancient Serpent painting, which featured my character Darius, because that was a bigger canvas and I needed to do larger washes over it. But I've only used this one once. I used it for my Selena art, I believe. And this one, obviously these brushes, because they have not been used too much, they shed a lot, so it tended to shed during that video, and I was constantly picking up the brushes, and I think that's another reason why I tend to stick to the brushes I've already used. Granted, this one still sheds a lot. I quite like these brushes. I think they do a great job. I feel like they're also really great for landscape paintings because of the flexibility of calligraphy brushes, and they can take whatever shape you really need to getting very unique brush strokes. I feel like you can get that a lot with these calligraphy brushes that you can't really get with other brushes, so they're very versatile. I love these a lot. Now, this other set is my travel set. So these are 3 brush sizes. I can pull them out. It has a very nice pleather probably, a bag. But these are my 3 brushes that I got. They are portable painting brushes. This is a size 8. This is a size 4 and this is a size 1. And they are very good for when I go out to a coffee shop. I've been using these a lot recently because I've been painting more often out at coffee shops with my best friend, and it is not always convenient to bring my larger brush sets, which is what I used to do all the time. So these are quite nice for their flexibility, and they expand like this. You just take them out of here, attach them, and do that. So if you like to travel and you don't want to bring all your brushes, I would recommend getting yourself some of these collapsible brushes if you don't mind. Having limited sizes, since usually these portable brushes come in a specific size range, so you won't be able to find very large size brushes in the portable ones. I don't think. I haven't seen them. If they are out there, feel free to comment down below, but I've mostly seen smaller size brushes when it comes to these portable sizes. I believe I got them on Etsy, so yes, if I remember where I got these, I will link them down below. This is not a brush, but since we're on the topic of portability, I will say that I do have this collapsible Faber-Castell? I don't actually remember how to pronounce this since it's been so long. Collapsible water pot that I take with me all the time whenever I am going out. I also just use it in the convenience of my own home because it's nice to just have this. It's collapsible, it opens up, and then you can close it, and it fits perfectly in a bag if you have a little bag that you want to put this in. And for someone who doesn't have like a teeny tiny palette with a little water cup to clip on it like I've seen on many other travel sets, this has been really convenient for me, and this was a gift. I'm pretty sure you could find this in like Michael's or something, your local art store. I'm sure you could find something similar to this if this is what you want. Now we move on to these two sets of brushes. These were both gifts to me. This is Transun. They're both the same brand. I used to use these all the time in my videos, and my first set of videos, I think I used these a lot actually. There is actually a hole at the bottom of this now. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's actually a little hole here now. I've used this so much, and I like all the brushes in here for the most part. I don't think there's a single brush in here that I dislike. Oops. But I have found that a lot of these plastic caps, as you can tell, I don't actually know which brush they belong to anymore. I used to use my square brushes all the time because I really enjoyed using, I go through periods where I really enjoy using square brushes. Now I will say this set I do not use much at all. I used to use this all the time because I actually got this set before this set. This was an older set that I had, and this has more of the square brushes, so if I wanted to do square paintings, I think I would use these more for like gouache portraits, because I think I always see all the time people are using square brushes for their gouache portraits, so I may pivot back to this for that. But I do like this because it has a bigger flat brush for washes, so I have used that a couple of times. This brush does not belong in this set. I don't actually know. I think this is from one of my cheaper sets that I got from like, I don't know, old sets I had for years, but it just is in here because I think I used it at one painting session. I just left it in here, but I don't use these much anymore. All right, that's it for brushes, so let's move on. So now, paint palettes. This is a combination of watercolor and gouache palettes. I only have 2 gouache sets, which are these 2 here. And I have quite a few watercolor palettes. Before this video, I actually got rid of a lot of watercolors, and some of the watercolors that I had had for a long time, and some that just would not come out of the tube as well, and those were some of the gouache paints too. So I did a bit of decluttering before I did this video. But since I have only 2 gouache sets, we're gonna start with those real quick. Both these sets of gouache paints I got last year, or possibly 2024, I don't remember. This Arteza set had a lot of gouache that was actually dried up in the caps, and I tried many different ways to try to actually loosen them up again so I can use them, and nothing was really working, so I just ended up getting rid of them, which is honestly okay because I didn't need all the colors in there. It has enough colors remaining that I honestly don't feel like I'm being limited. And I think that's just a product of me getting better at color mixing. So I'm not too upset that some of these colors are no longer in here. But I have recently been using these in one of my recent sketchbooks to test out how they looked again, because I had forgotten about these. I'd had these for a while, and honestly I'm still happy with them. I'm sure these are probably cheaper. I don't know. I got these as a gift as a reminder, so I'm not sure the price of these. I'll put it up on the screen if I can find them, but I like them a lot. Next is this set that I definitely know I got for either Christmas or my birthday of 2024, 25? No, 2024. I think I said last year. No, these, all my gouache was definitely 2024. Time is kind of blending together. But this is a 36 color gouache set, which I'm sure they are cheap, but I haven't obviously used a lot of these warmer colors. Honestly, it's mostly because they go a pretty long way, so I don't need to use too much out of the tube. But I have also not been doing too much gouache painting over the past year, because I've been focusing mostly on my watercolor, so obviously my gouache has just not been getting used much. I used gouache a little bit at the beginning of the year after I got these, and then I just have not gone back to these because I've been focusing so much on trying to learn watercolor. And I feel like if I switch mediums too often while trying to learn one, it's just not going to work out very well, because I remember when I switched to gouache again and then I went back to watercolor, the way I was painting was watercolor was like I was trying to use gouache, and it just was not working because I was expecting this thick, vibrant consistency and the colors not to dry as light as they did, and that's just not the case with watercolor. So I haven't used these much. I'm hoping to use these into the next year, as well as my Arteza ones, and paint more with gouache. I have been exploring a lot with watercolor this year, or last year, 2025, and I've had an assortment of palettes, only really 4. I found another watercolor set that I had gotten, and I don't think I actually opened them. They're in tubes. I don't think I used them much. I'm pretty sure I've had those for a while. That was another set that I found while decluttering a little bit, and I may use them in the future. But we'll start with this Gin Crafts watercolor set that I got for Christmas 2024 for my brother. They're pretty cheap, but honestly, I enjoyed using them when I did. They haven't been used too much in recent months, but I will probably go back to them on the occasion when painting with friends, since this has a lot more color choices too, and that helps avoid color mixing. If they're not big on color mixing, they just want to pick a color and call it a day. You can tell I do not wash my palettes, or my mixing plates. You can tell I do not wash them. But honestly, they're cheap, I'm sure, but they do enough. And I've seen reviews of them and people saying they're hardly watercolors and mostly water soluble, so purchase at your own risk. I did not buy these. These were a gift for me. But I think they do pretty good. At the beginning, when I first started my channel, I was using these, and I think the watercolors were pretty vibrant, honestly. I think I got some compliments for the vibrancy of my watercolors too when I was using these. And yeah, I like them quite a bit. If you want some cheap ones, and these guys still exist, I don't know if they do. Like I said, I didn't buy them, but they're not bad. Now we move on to this miniature palette. Isn't she so cute? This is not supposed to be here. This came off of one of my journals, actually. It's a little wax seal from something that I got a letter from, I believe, and I glued it to the journal, and somehow it ended up here, but I'll just leave it here for now. This has paints that I put in here earlier from the year, and obviously they're cracking and falling out. Like, this whole thing is falling out. But the paints are actually from the Yasutomo Chinese watercolors. I enjoy the convenience of palettes over dealing with tubes, so that's why I put them in here. Granted, you can see that these do not, I don't know if they show up very clearly on the camera, but you can see that they are cracking quite significantly in this palette, which is a little bit unfortunate, but honestly, as long as they still paint, I don't mind. I think I'll keep using these up until the tubes are up. I don't think I would purchase them again. I like this set a lot because it has warmer colors, and then we get to some of the cooler ones, but I like these warmer tone oranges and reds. And I, generally speaking, have a tendency to use a lot of blues and purples, so this really pushes me to use more of these warmer colors. And honestly, it was the first time I really was experimenting with color mixing in watercolors, so this one pushed me to learn a little bit about that. And the colors are just super vibrant. I think despite the fact that they are obviously not good at setting in these palettes, the colors are super vibrant, so I like them a lot. And the packaging that I got for these Yasutomo ones, they tell you all the colors on the back that you can get, the tubes that you can get. I got these from Michael's, so you can probably find them at Michael's. You can probably find them online too. I have not gone to their website, but I like this little palette too. It's yellow, which is my favorite color. And honestly, I have gotten so used to just mixing in such a small palette before, and I was like, oh, I don't want my colors mixing. Now I'm just so used to it that it doesn't bother me. So I also take this for traveling a lot, so if you like miniature palettes to travel with, you should get one of these. I'm sure you can find one of these on Amazon. I do not remember where I got this. I think this might have been a gift. So then we move on to this palette that I got next. This is a combination of handmade watercolors from a variety of different vendors on Etsy. This is in the Suimali palette, also from Etsy. I think this is the palette that I use the most currently. I think in my most recent video, this is the palette that I was using. I love this. The colors are very specific, so you get very specific colorways with this, but I have found that it has so much versatility in these colors, so I'm going to break down each and every one of these and where I got them, and they'll also be linked down in the description below. First, in this top layer, we have the Supernova watercolor set from Mrs. Hand Painted on Etsy, and that is these three and these three. And all this will be linked down below, like I said. These colors go such a long way, and I do love these colors a lot. They're really pigmented. If you are someone that prefers the more transparent watercolors, these may not be for you. You can tell that this blue, I don't know if it'll show up very well on camera. The camera will focus. I can tell that this blue is a very dark blue, but it is the one I have used obviously the most because you can see the bottom. This green here is a granulating color with some orange in it from Clinchandra Studio on Etsy. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. This color, from what I saw on their storefront, is not currently available, but it was part of their planet set. This was called Jupiter, and it has a cobalt turquoise with orange granulation in it. I think it's a lovely color. I like it a lot. On this side, we have the coral set from the Flower Moon Company on Etsy, and that is all of these. This is clearly right now my most used size. I think I use this side a lot as well. I think this just goes a long ways. This one went a lot faster, I feel, because there were a couple of air pockets in these paints, so my red went down really fast because I think there were a couple of air pockets, and so does this pink, and you can see the air pocket in this one as well. I do use this side a lot, especially this color. I'm definitely gonna have to refresh on some of these colors and get more of them because I like them a lot. At the beginning, I was actually a little bit disappointed because the colors I thought looked a little bit different on the listing, but I've gotten so used to using it at this point that it doesn't matter. This was originally listed as more of a yellow, I believe, but it's a bit more like a cream color, so it's like a creamy white if that's what you're looking for, and that is really how I use it for my color mixings, and gives it a little bit of a warm, lighter shade if you're going for that. So I really like these a lot. So these three colors here are from Addison and Sedgwick. These colors are Old Town Synagogue, Halcyon, and Green Darner. The yellow from this coral set is a little bit more of a cream, so I wanted a more vibrant yellow, a warmer yellow shade, and so that's why I got this Halcyon. and I wanted a lighter blue than this one. And then I got this green because I have a lot of cooler shades of green, so I wanted a slightly warmer green, which you can see here. This row is these colors, and you can see how that differs a little bit from there. So and these are extras that I got. This purple is an extra that I got from this palette by KJ Design by Karen, which is a lovely segue into this palette. I had to find this. This is the colors that I got from KJ Design by Karen. These are some beautiful metallic colors that are also all handmade. And obviously these are all situational, but gosh, are they gorgeous. I have not used this one too much, but I have been able to use my gold and silver and reds quite a bit, and my purple too. But if I'm using this palette, I don't pull out this purple because that covers it. But I really like these colors. I mostly use these for Sylvia, and there was a painting that I had an idea for that I really wanted this gold, and I decided to just buy this set, and I 100% think it's worth it, and it'll go such a long ways. And finally we get to this palette, which is from Poems About You. These are a set of ultramarine colors. Now, these colors took a little bit to grow on me, and I don't think my camera is doing them justice. This is what they look like when they're actually painted. I originally bought these because I really love these shades of blues and purples. Like I said, I mostly use blues and purples, and there was a painting idea that I had that mostly used blues, and I thought this set was perfect for it, so I was very excited to get it. I think this is like the exact opposite of that Chinese watercolor set that I showed earlier, because that mostly had warmer shades, and this only has these three, I guess. And I will say that this yellow, unfortunately, is not as vibrant as I thought it would be. It's a little bit dirty now, but you can just tell from my original swatching that it's more like a white when I used it. I do not get the level of vibrancy that I want from this. So I went ahead and added the yellow from my Chinese watercolor set, but you can tell that I used this yellow quite a bit. And I also decided to add the white from the Chinese watercolor set as well, just to kind of fill out this palette, since it would have just had like 4 on this side, since it was a set of 9, and so this could fit 12, 6 on each side, so I decided to add these 2 so that it had that. And this red is an extra from the Addison and Sedgwick set that I showed earlier. And that is it for all of my paint palettes. And in order of paint palettes that are most used, definitely be this set, and then this set, and then this for extra purposes. And then this set would be I have not used this one, the Gin Craft, since the first half of the year, really. I tried to go back to these after using these these really for a while, and then I just was really painting with them differently than I used to, and it translated in my flower painting, because I would use these mostly for my flower paintings, because these have a level of transparency that these do not. You really have to water these down. They're pretty transparent. You can build up a lot with these, which is how I originally learned to start trying to paint my flowers. So I was really used to this, and then I tried to paint flowers with this set, and it went, oh right, it was not that great. So I, generally speaking, do not paint my flowers with these. Now, sketchbooks. I have used quite a few sketchbooks this year, more than I think I ever had at one time. I used to only have one sketchbook in rotation at a time, which I think the first one I ever finished was back in 2019, maybe 2018, and that is this one. We'll look at that in a second. This one was the one I finished way back when, and I actually discovered this when I was cleaning my room. I had this one for a while. I actually tried to do the Inktober in here, and this first one was dated way back in 2016. It does not have a specific month, but I did it in 2016, and this was the first one I ever did. Obviously you can tell that I have used this a lot because it's no longer glued together. But the very last one that I did in here was in 2018, 12/22. So I took 2 years to finish this one, almost 3 years. And this one had, when I was back interested in doing an Inktober, and I was pretty committed to it the first year I ever tried to do it, honestly. I remember being so happy with this drawing. And this was day 1, day 2. I used to just do ink drawings all the time, and then I slowly fell out of it. This was when I think I was trying to use some markers. So this one was the first one I had ever finished, and then I never really picked up sketchbooks anymore. I had a couple that I will show later that I had started and didn't get very far in them. This past year though, I started being more consistent with my traditional art, and I started picking up more handmade sketchbooks. Some are from Etsy, some are from other stores that I did get them from, like Staples, for example. And in total this year, I have worked on 9 sketchbooks that I previously showed up, and I have finished 4 in total. These 4 were the ones that I completed last year. These are the 4 that I completed last year. These 2 I will be making sketchbook tours of soon. This one, I probably won't be doing a sketchbook tour until I finish uploading all the time lapses that I want to upload from the sketchbook. But honestly, at the point of this video being recorded, I'm not sure if I've actually already put them up or not. So, and these 2 sketchbooks, I have already done sketchbook tours of. I got both of these from Staples, as you can tell. They're the same kind. And these are Canson. I quite liked using these. They have the cold press, hot press side, and I found that I love cold press for watercolors. I like hot press for gouache. And this journal I mostly did simple things in it. As you can tell, it's a pretty basic looking one. This one I did pop-ups and other paper mechanics in there, so that's why it's so chunky. And this one I recorded quite a few videos in as well. This is where I started my channel in, so make sure to check those out. These 2 are handmade. They are made by the same person, White Pigeon Bindery. They have arches, cold pressed watercolor paper, 300 GSM. This is the sketchbook that I finished. The binding is a little bit loose at the end, as you can tell, it's a little bit loose. I've been using it quite a lot, and perhaps I was just a little bit too rough on them, but it's still holding together, but I can see that eventually this probably will not. I also love them because they do lay flat, and that is something that I like. You will need to clip these, but they do lay flat. Not to give you a little preview of what's happening in this one, but they do lay flat. And I take these to coffee shops with me all the time because they do fit in my purse, especially this one. And so it goes perfectly with my travel brushes because they're like the same size. So these 2 I take with me traveling all the time. Whenever I go somewhere, I have these 2 with me, especially when I'm painting with a friend or I'm going down to my grandmother's that has no internet connection. And this one is one that I have made quite a few videos in this book on this channel. This is made by Grace Paper Place on Etsy. This one introduced me to Balhan watercolor paper. I had never heard of it before, and it was definitely a bit of a learning curve because the paper is a little bit rougher, and they do have a paper that is called rough watercolor paper, so I don't know what that's like, and I don't know how I would feel about it because this is already pretty rough. It grew on me, and I learned to love this paper actually So I'm hoping to get another sketchbook with Balholm watercolor paper soon as well. And this one is my journal dedicated to painting flowers. I post these videos on YouTube. It is made from a tree branch slice, and I think it is very cool. When I saw this, I was like, oh, this is perfect for my small flower paintings. And yeah, I was only using gin crafts at the beginning. All these were just using gin crafts, and then I switched to different watercolors, the ones that I got from that were handmade. I like this. I think it is also using Archer's Gold Press watercolor paper. I'm not sure. It lays flat, but it's 300 GSM and it was made by Sky Art on Etsy. Now we move on to the 3 other sketchbooks that I use loosely. We have this one, which is my newest one, and then this one and this one, which are both old. So we will start with these two. We'll start specifically with this one. So this one is one that I think I started right after I finished that previous one that I showed you, which ended in December of 2022. So I actually started this a little bit before I finished the last one, and this one is just a bigger size, which I think is why I liked it, because it was a bigger size. This is a Strathmore, as you can see, and I had started this with Inktober. This was going to be my other Inktober journal, and I used to only draw on one side of the page. I actually swatched my watercolors that I got, my handmade watercolors that I got, in here. So this was my swatch journal as well, and actually, for probably not being the paper for it, it actually handles it quite well. I think I'll also try to do some gouache paintings in here as well. And this one is just called Sketch. I think this may be 2019 that I did this, mostly because I have a question mark here because I found this recently. But I think it may be 2019 because this is the reason why I think this may be 2019, because I think I might have got this when I was in college, and I took a calligraphy club, and we were practicing writing different letters in different ways, and this looks like something that I might have done in my calligraphy club. So I think this might have been 2018 or 2019 as well. Not too sure, but those were the years that I was in calligraphy club, and I've recently been using it for just some sketches. As you can see here. And once again, I'm only doing it on one side. For the most part, I have only been doing it on one side. And I just like using this for sketches. I think that's probably what I will use this for in the future. It's just sketching in it. Especially because the name is literally just Sketch. I think it'll probably be for the best to just have one that I sketch in and help practice little things that I am still struggling with, but haven't dedicated a lot of time to practice. I do not know if I actually bought this or if this was a gift for me, so cannot tell you where I got this. But yeah. And then we go to my most recent one. And this is where I actually plan on doing a lot more of my gouache paintings in it. It is cold pressed, and I should have gotten a hot pressed one for my gouache paintings, but this is the very first one that I did in it, and I think it honestly looks better on camera. I think it looks better on camera than it does in person, but this is Sylvia. This is the very first one in here. I'm not showing you the rest, but I've only done like 2 pages in here, but I should have gone hot pressed because I prefer to do hot pressed with gouache, but this was the first painting I did with gouache after a long time, and it was November 4th, so not too long ago. I'm excited to use this more. I wanted to do a review of my 2025 artwork, which will mean choosing my top 12, so one for each month, for traditional and digital art. In addition to that, I plan on comparing my 2025 digital art to my 2024 favorites for digital art as well. Traditional art, I didn't do enough art to do that kind of comparison. I only did it at the end of the year. Now, in 2025, I created a total of 363 pieces of art, 126 of them being digital pieces of art, and 237 of them being traditional, which is way more than 2024. 2024, I had done 116 pieces of digital art, so not that big of a difference between digital for 2024 and 2025, and 14 pieces of traditional art, which is why I said I can't do a 2024-2025 traditional art comparison. So not a huge difference in the digital art department, but significant in the traditional art department. And I will be honest, I feel like I made less art this year than I did last year, but when I was putting the comparisons, I realized no, I definitely made a lot more art this year than I did last year. I didn't feel like I was nearly as productive with my digital art this year as I was last year, but yeah, I was pretty productive this year. So I'm gonna start with my favorites from digital art, and then we'll move on to traditional art, and I will be picking my favorites from 2025 and showing off what my favorite was from 2024. Now in 2025, I'm creating this summary of art design. I did not do this for 2024, I don't think, so let's get this started. So in January of 2025, my favorite was this Whisper portrait that I did, which is a D&D character that belongs to the DM, Strawberry Witch. And my honorable mention will go to Naira's portrait. I really had a tough time choosing between the two of them. And to be honest, a lot of my favorites from this year, which is probably the reason why I felt like I didn't do much art this year, will be D&D portraits. Last year I did a lot more complete pieces, which goes directly to my favorite of 2024, which was the Sylvia and Kaze Fireflies date. This was their confession date, and I did this in January of last year, and it was the first piece of art that I actually did that year. Now, moving on to my favorite for February of 2025 is my Rosanna portrait. This was my Valentine's Day gift to the DM. This is one of their characters. This is one of their first 4 characters I think they created. I think she's very cute. This is the second time I've drawn Rosanna, and I think this is probably my best version of her. And my favorite from 2024 is my Darius Valentine piece that I made. In March of 2025, my top pick was my Dimitri portrait. I think he came out quite nicely. I love his expression. I love his smile. Also, once again, another character belonging to Strawberry Witch. If I show a portrait in any of these frames, they belong to Strawberry Witch because I made it a goal, I believe, starting late 2023, but really picked up in 2024, of drawing portraits of all the important, semi-important NPCs that show up in the D&D campaign. A general disclaimer for a lot of my favorites and why a lot of these are just D&D portraits for this year. And my favorite for March of last year was my Golden Serpent New Year's piece that I did. Since we were in New Year's and the actual campaign, I decided to go ahead and make a Golden Serpent print, which all these are my characters besides Kaze in the back. And they were just friends that Kaze made at the end of the year. And an honorable mention to my Kaze series of arts that I did. These were technically gifts from my character Genesis to Kaze. I really like these. My favorite is this New Year's gift one. I didn't give it a proper title, but I think it's just because it's such a different style from what I usually do, and I was really trying to channel my character style that resulted in me really liking this one. I feel like it stands out a lot compared to what I usually do. In April, my 2025 favorite is this Julius portrait. I actually did a watercolor painting of Julius in my sketchbook that is uploaded on this channel. You can check it out here if you would like. I could not find a single piece of art that I did in 2024 of April, so moving on. In 2025, my favorite piece that I did is this Kaido portrait. He is my character. I love this portrait. I think this captures him so well. I don't know what it is. His expression, the colors, everything about it. I just really love this piece. And my 2024 favorite was my Shattered Memories 1-year anniversary piece. It was the 1-year anniversary of the campaign, I decided to make a little celebratory piece of it, and yeah, I thought it was really nice. I don't usually like to do pieces with a lot of characters, so this one and my Golden Serpent New Year's piece was an exercise for me, for real. In June of 2025, my favorite is the Azazel and Flask picture that I did. This was for technically the other player in the campaign's birthday. This was a gift to them. And it falls kind of close to their character's birthday, which is June 21st, I believe. So this just kind of doubled as a birthday picture for the player and also the character, because I do tend to make birthday pictures for the characters as well. Honorable mention for this month is my portrait of Aricia. This is my wife. I love her very much. She belongs to the DM once more, but she was actually originally in a different campaign that we were in before that they did not DM. Someone else DM'd it. And this was the first time I had played with them, and I absolutely fell in love with this character. I still do. There's another little side campaign that we do that also features this character, so I love her a lot, and this is her aged up because she's a lot older in Shattered Memories than she is when you first meet her in the other campaign, so honorable mention to her. And in 2024, my favorite is this piece called To Live is to be Sacrificed, which features my character Genesis, who has a quite unfortunate past. We'll just leave it at that. I love the lighting of this, which I think is the reason why I am a big fan of this piece. And the other reason is I just really love the work that I spent way too much time on with the tattoos that he has. In July, my 2025 favorite is my Star Tarot concept. It features my character Sylvia. And an honorable mention is my Kaze birthday pic, which has 2 versions. I'm just showing this one. And my Sun Tarot idea, which also features Kaze. I decided that we were going to start trying to work on some Shattered Memories tarot cards, and so these were the first 2 that I did. And in 2024, I apparently did absolutely no art in July. I was taking a break after doing all the June art that I did and decided that I wasn't going to resume until August to do the annual Kaze birthday pick. In August, I chose the Devil Tarot card, which features Strawberry Witch's character Rowan, who I've gotten to know a lot more over the past couple of years. I actually met him originally in a pre-campaign thing that I did with my character Sylvia, and just to get to know a character. And then he's become a little bit more prominent in the Shattered Memories era for different reasons. And the 2024 favorite is my Darius birthday pick, which is quite unfortunate because normally I would probably choose my Kaze birthday picture like I did in July of 2025. But I actually wasn't that fond of 2024's Kaze picture. I don't know, something about it just did not work as well as the 2023 and the 2025 one, unfortunately. It's okay. And in September, speaking of Darius, my 2025 favorite is the Death Tarot card, which I actually quite love. Originally, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. This is my character, I know him so well, but I was struggling to figure out how I wanted this to go. But once I actually started, all the symbolism came to me. And in 2024, my favorite is the Seihi portrait. I just thought, wow, she looks gorgeous. I just feel like she came out really nicely. And my honorable mention goes to Esha, who also came out very nicely. She has this kind of unsettling vibe that I wanted to be there subtly. I think also the greens are very nice. And for Seihi's, I love the mock tarot card that I put over her frame. In October 2025, guess what? Another tarot card, the Hermit Tarot card. This features Memoji, once again, belonging to Strawberry Witch. And I like this one a lot. This one, it grew on me. And I have some other ideas for the tarot card that I will eventually come down to, but yeah. For now, this is what we have. And for 2024, my favorite is this baby's picture. though I will give the honorable mention to Box Lunch. Now these names mean nothing to you, but they are actually the couple names for D&D couples that exist between my character and Strawberry Witch's characters. We give them couple names so it's easier to refer to them. And the 2024 favorite is called Babies. It features Sinja, my character, and Xavius. And then we have Box Lunch, which is Evander, Strawberry Witch's character, and Enslow, Purple Hair, my character. In November of 2025, we have another couple picture. It is the Snowstorm, Knight, and Prince picture that features my character, Ardal, and Strawberry Witch's character, Winter. And it was just based off of a story that they had written featuring them in a different world where Ardal was a knight and Winter was a royal. And in 2024, my favorite is the Kaze and Jen couple picture. And the honorable mention goes to Fairy Tale and also a Cautious Blood and Blooms portrait. I like those a lot. And in December of 2025, my favorite one is this Ozan portrait. He belongs to me. And this is once again another Blood and Blooms portrait. And my 2024 favorite is this Shattered Memories New Year picture with an honorable mention to my Darius, Kaze, and Sylvia New Year's picture. But I try to come up with New Year's pictures every year. I could not come up with anything for 2025, so here we are. Ozan was the winner. I didn't do much digital art at the end of the year, to be honest, so that's another reason. And now we're going to move on to traditional art. I had a harder time picking favorites for certain months when it came to my traditional art, but most of them are from my different sketchbooks that I've had, but most of them are from my latter half of the year sketchbook where I was working very hard in them. So let's get to it, shall we? In January, my favorite is this Celestial Teacup piece. This one was in my first sketchbook of the year. It was me trying to get back into doing art again. I think this was early January when I did it. I was relearning how to use watercolors again. I tried to keep it relatively consistent at the beginning of the year. And in February, my favorite is this Koi Fish Pond piece that I did with watercolors. I absolutely love this piece. It is still my favorite in my first sketchbook of the year and maybe my favorite. I kind of go back and forth between this one and another one that happened in, I believe, December of 2024. In March, I did not paint at all this month. I obviously did not go to see my friend that month, so no painting happened in March of 2025. In April, I did 2 dark water paintings using gouache. I think this one is my favorite of the 2. It is very nice. I think it's mostly because of the bright blue flowers on the side. I like this one. And an honorable mention goes to my first character painting that I did of Selena, which you have seen me paint her several times now, actually. Now in May, this was when I started my paper mechanic art journal, which I have actually done a sketchbook tour, which you can see if you click that link up there. This pop-up was my actual first pop-up that I did in this paper mechanic journal, and I still love it. I think it came out really well, and I have not been able to replicate this quality since, but I still love it a lot. An honorable mention goes to my other fish pond painting that is in my other sketchbook. I think it came out pretty good. I love the colors. I love it in yellow and green and not my usual blues and purples. In June, I had a tough time on this one, but it has to be my Golden Serpent piece. I love the paper mechanic in this one, and I love the kind of abstract appearance of this side. I really like that, and I love the paper mechanic, but I will give an honorable mention to my 2 other favorites, which is the Blood Serpent and the Greenhouse Shenanigans piece. In June, I think that is where a lot of my favorites are for this sketchbook. And in July, yes, another fish pond painting, but this was a pop-up, so it has an exception, and the colors are not leaning too blue. There's a little bit of green in it, so it's okay. This journal was also my attempt to not use blue as much because I use a lot of blue in my art, so I was trying to avoid that in the sketchbook. In August, my actual Selena painting called Chosen of the Moon, and this one was probably the first one that I felt pretty confident in what I was doing. I love the way this turned out, and I have it taped on my wall because I like it so much. And I actually also have a speed paint of this on my channel as well. And an honorable mention goes to my first 2 tarot card concepts that I brazenly chose to try to paint in my sketchbook. And I have not done that since I did this. So in September, my favorite is the Princess of the Grave from my Watercolor and Horror series that I did for Halloween in October. You can see the painting up here. In October, my favorite is the Ace of Cups, which is once again from my Watercolor and Horror series. It gives me, if I decided to do a horror tarot deck, this would be one of them. I really like this. And using blood instead of water for the cups, I really like. And an honorable mention goes to the wedding piece that I did from this series, Watercolor and Horror as well. I really like this one. I love how bold the red is. In November, my favorite is Akash from my Sylvia Friends series. Once again, Akash is Strawberry Witch's character, and my Sylvia character is also from the campaign Shattered Memories. Akash, I just think, came out the best out of all my portraits that I did in November. And in December, this was a bit of a tough one because I decided to really lock in December apparently. But my favorite has to go to my Under Hollowed Eyes piece. I really like this one. And I kind of wish I didn't do it in a sketchbook, but I really like this one. And my honorable mentions has to go to my Hades Zagreus fan art and my Yusei piece, which is one of my D&D characters. I don't know, something about these 3 pieces that I did just really stand out to me, and I was having a hard time choosing them. And yeah, that's pretty much my favorites for 2025 when it comes to my digital and traditional art. I am very much proud of myself for how much art I did and how consistent I was working. I really do want to focus a little bit more on gouache, but I'm hoping this year I will be able to balance them a little bit better and explore them more and improve my skills in all the different mediums. I try really hard not to bounce between gouache and watercolor because the brain translation between the 2 of them doesn't always work. And now that we have wrapped up my 2025 favorites digitally and traditionally, I wanted to wrap up this video by taking a look at some of my goals for 2026. As for my creative goals, art-wise, I want to have the bare minimum goal of traditionally painting at least once a month gouache and watercolor. So that means at least 2 paintings a month. I know I will do more than that, but I want to set that goal because last year I obviously skipped a month when it came to painting. So I want to hold myself accountable and make sure I am painting at least once a month. My second goal is I want to make sure that I am drawing digitally at least once a month, and D&D holds me pretty accountable for that. But I do want to make sure that I do not skip a month because sometimes I'm just like, man, I don't know what to draw. I don't really feel like drawing. I want to make sure that I'm pushing myself to keep drawing so I don't fall out of the habit, because I noticed in months where I was really into my watercolor paintings and I was not doing digital art as much because time constraints, etc., my digital art suffered. I was very rusty. I had to reacclimate myself to drawing digitally because that uses a whole different set of muscles. And I definitely felt that when I was trying to go back to my traditional art. Wow, I don't know how to draw on paper like I used to. So I want to make sure that I'm drawing once a month digitally as well. My third goal is, alongside the watercolor and gouache, I do want to do some proper studies with them so that it's not just me loosely painting, but I'm actually studying to better myself when it comes to that medium. Practice makes perfect, of course, but I would like to make sure that I'm properly studying some things to encourage specific skill set growths. And another art goal that I have, there is this lookbook that I want to make that is D&D related, Shattered Memories related, where I've had this idea in mind of making a lookbook for a specific group of people within the campaign, and I've been saying I've been wanting to do that for 2 years, so maybe this year I will get to it. If not, that's okay. It's a bit of a stretch goal because it is a bit of a long-term project, but that may be something to keep me drawing at least once a month, because I will definitely have to start that earlier. And outside of my art goals, my creative goals in general, I would like to kind of explore different video content like I've been saying I would in my channel for a while. So maybe some gaming content, maybe. Depends on if I feel like it fits the vibes. Another creative goal, but not an art goal, to write some more. I used to write all the time and then I fell out of it. So I would like to pick back up my writing again. And I think that's about it for all of my goals for this year that I have. Just doing some proper studies for my art to make sure that I'm actually improving certain skills that I tend to ignore. And other personal art goals, I would like to make sure to keep myself consistent. And in terms of my consistency with uploading, I probably will not upload as much as I did last year. I think I've already said this, but I probably will not upload as much as I did last year. Maybe 1 or 2 videos every 2 weeks. I may change my mind. I may start posting more often. It's just I'm not going to hold myself up to a consistent schedule, but I will still try to upload at least like once or twice a month as well. That's pretty much it for this video. Let me know down below what your goals are for 2026 if you've made it this far. This is a bit of a long video for me. If you made it this far, let me know what your goals are for 2026, and let me know if you enjoyed this kind of video. Let me know if there were parts where you felt like you would have preferred it to be its own video instead of being one long video. I really wanted to do a 2025 summary for myself and decided to put it into video format instead of just doing it in a long post format, which is what I usually do on the socials. I usually post my summary. So let me know if you enjoyed this kind of video. Let me know if you preferred it to be broken up into more bite-sized videos. We'd love to hear the feedback. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's and wonderful holidays, manifesting all the creative energy for all of us this year. And I'm already feeling it. So thank you for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.